Hey guys, it's Danny. Today we're doing updates, but not just any type of updates. We're gonna look at some orchids that don't get enough airtime because, I don't know, because they're not as mainstream as Phalaenopsis or Cattleyas, and also they're not really doing much maybe, but they deserve an update. Some of you have asked about them, so I'm gonna tell you what some of my most obscure let's say orchids, what they're up to, but also I'm going to tell you about the ones that I lost, because there are some that I lost. Right, so before we start, don't forget to give this video a like if you end up enjoying it, and why not subscribe? I post multiple times a week and it's completely free, but if you're feeling a little extra and you can and you wish to further support the channel, do consider becoming a member and getting access to some exclusive videos, and some behind the scenes. Also, you can use the affiliate links that I have always in the description of my videos. You can also choose to get some merch. We have currently beautiful mugs and also a puzzle, and you can also use the super thanks option below my videos. Right, so with that said, I have a list, but I know we're gonna start with these because I know they were on the list. I made the list a few days ago, so I don't remember what I put on the list. But let's first start with this beauty. This is a thumbnail. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. This is an Angraecum. So these are my two Angraecums, the ones that I still have. This one could use a little bit more water, but this one, let's start with this one. This is a Angraecum magdaleni. This one actually bloomed for me once and then proceeded to just rot. No, I actually lost it last year when I did the thrips treatment. The insecticide, the spinosad, got into the crown, and the crown on these guys is so tight that it rotted. No matter if it was hot and I tried to dry it, it got all the way down, it rotted the main plant, but it had a tiny keiki which I separated and it's growing. It's doing okay. Needs more water, as we can see. The leaf tips are drying out. That's a sign of underwatering. Yeah, makes sense. But it's doing okay. Do I see a keiki? No, I don't know. It's a monopodial orchid, so that's why I'm saying keikis. But it is doing well. These guys grow pretty slow. This is not one of those tall Angraecums though. So I should expect blooms, let's say, maybe in 2 years or so. Could have blooms. Anyway, it has a really beautiful leaf and glaucous sheen. I don't know if sheen is a good word. It looks very nice. It's one of those orchids that has a bluish tint to it, and I really like it. I think it's really pretty. Flowers are really pretty. They smell great. But oh boy, that crown. Not something you play around with, but he's fine. I still have him. This guy. This is Angraecum leonis. Yeah, in 2021, I started to put dates on my tags, but I have him for more than 3 years. 5, maybe. It was a tiny little baby. Got set back in the meantime, but it grew back up, but it didn't bloom. So I'm guessing it was because it was set back, but now he's doing good. I repotted it this year in April because I really wanted to see the root system and how it's doing. There we go. So I put it in a transparent pot, and it has been doing well ever since. It looks like a little palm tree. It has such a beautiful shape. If nothing else, it just has a really beautiful shape, but the flowers should look spectacular as well. Look at him. Look at the scar. Has some thrips damage here, but I don't have thrips on it at the moment. It looks good. No blooms. I should expect blooms maybe in the springtime. I think that's when they bloom. They do actually benefit from a temperature difference between night and day in the autumn, just like Phalaenopsis. With my other Angraecums, and even with this one, I discovered that when you give them that chill, they start to produce the blooms, kind of like Phalaenopsis. Anybody else? I'm not the expert on Angraecums by far, but I did notice that. So these are my two Angraecums, the only two Angraecums that I still have. This one is so pretty. I love them nonetheless, but as you can see, haven't done way too much, so that's why you didn't see them in forever. But they're still around. I'm gonna insert a quick little update on the Habenarias here as well, very quick. We've talked about these guys this year because I almost killed both of them. This one, I broke the quorum, or a quarter of it I broke, and this one I broke the new growths. I don't know what's wrong with me, but they're still here. This one has 8 growths, and I broke 3 of them. Maybe 3. 2 for sure. Maybe 3. I broke them. It still has 8 growths. They have done great. And this one is the Carnea. Look how beautiful the foliage is. Very, very nice orchid. Bonus, it has 2 shoots. like right in here. I'll give you a close-up because you cannot see. I see another shoot just sprouting. I'm very happy about it because not only did I remove part of the corm, but it so graciously bestowed another growth on me, even though I broke the corm. Thank you, I appreciate, and I think it forgave me for breaking its corm. But there we go. I'm not a Habenaria killer, I'm still happy. Speaking about terrestrial plants, this is one I got as a gift in one of my orders a year or two ago. I don't remember. This is Oeceoclades decaryana, and look how beautiful she is. Now, it has had very slow growth, so it only produced this growth within a year, but it's looking very nice, and I'm considering potting it in a more showy pot because, you know, it doesn't do much, it just looks good, but I think the pot is not really suited for it. It is a beautiful orchid that, as I was saying, is terrestrial, but it produces pseudobulbs. These orchids are not necessarily known for their flowers, although if it would flower, I would consider it very interesting. I would not mind, but they are more popular for their foliage. I don't know exactly how big this orchid is supposed to grow. I don't know much about it, never had it. I had the Oeceoclades, the other one, I lost. And I don't know why it rotted. But I'm not an expert again on these guys. They're species, but they don't seem to be very finicky or very hard to grow unless you rot them somehow. Probably again rotted the new growth with treatments for pests. But anyway, I still have this one, whoever remembers receiving it. Not doing much, but I think she deserves a much showier pot. For sure. I might have a pot for it. It just needs to arrive. I will record part of the video with that pot today. I found a pot, super beautiful, on Amazon. Not sponsored, nothing of the sorts. But you'll see when I post that video why, like, it spoke to me. And I ordered two. One arrived, the other is still on transport. So I can pot something into that, and maybe I will pot this one because it just goes. You'll see what I mean. Stay tuned for the video. Probably next week I'll post it. I'm waiting for the other pot as well, but anyway, I think I have a perfect pot for this one. You just wait and see. Next orchid some of you might know that I have. Do you remember? This is Dendrobium loddigesii variegated. Well, the tag says 2022. I feel like I have him for more than 2 years. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. He's beautiful. But the loddigesii has a habit that I'm not really fond of. It has a climbing habit or crawling habit. It doesn't spill over like other Dendrobiums. It's not pendant, although I see people trying to grow it that way. It's not its nature, it's a climber. So I'm thinking with this one to maybe arrange a setup for it where it can climb a little bit, or maybe I will put it in the terrarium that I will have for my gecko. Yeah, I have a crested gecko. I will make videos for it on the second channel. One of the first things we will move in the house is the paludarium, the ex-orchidarium. That will be his home, and he will have some orchids there. I'm guessing maybe this one will do good there. I don't know, we'll see. But I still have it. There he is. He had multiple canes that were attacked by all sorts of insects because Dendrobiums are pest magnets, and they didn't do so good after I treated them. This one though is doing good. He's in one of my cabinets, so he's protected, and so far so good, but he has quite a bit of a slow growth. I think it's the fact that it's variegated that gives it its slow growth, but here it is. I still have it, just not excelling. It's a deciduous, is it semi-deciduous? I think it's a deciduous Dendrobium, and it creates very nice purpley flowers once a year in spring. It needs a break. That's why I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't put it in the terrarium, which will always have irrigation and humidity. Yeah, maybe I will arrange a different system for it. But definitely this is a climber. And it doesn't feel happy if it doesn't really climb much on something, I've noticed. I've also seen it like grown, spilling out of the pot, but there are roots everywhere, keikis everywhere, you know. It has that rambling nature. This one though grows very slow, probably because it's variegated. Right, next up, Paphiopedilum venustum. I did a boo-boo, and I removed the new growth from the mother plant. And then you know what else I did? Because I don't know, my brain was somewhere else. I was here, my brain was somewhere else. I threw away the mother plant. You know why? Because there was something in my brain, but not enough at the time being. You know how Paphiopedilums, after they bloom, the mother plants, they kind of start wilting, and in like a couple of years they kind of wilt away slowly. They don't do anything else other than create offshoots. Well, this one, like, I repotted it and I kind of divided it without meaning. It just split off. It's very, very finicky. That little rhizome in Paphiopedilum's very brittle. So it did that, and I was like, well, I have no use for the mother plant because it's gonna just wilt anyway. That's what they do. My brain did not compute that, hey, you can create another shoot. And when I realized that, it was already gone. It's like, what's wrong with me? Anyway, so what I did was I got this shoot, and it has no roots. It's a young shoot. There are no roots. It's very sad what's happening here. So what I did was I'm looking for roots because there we go. I put it in this little jar with sphagnum moss, wet sphagnum moss. I plucked it in here in the wet sphagnum moss. These are terrestrial orchids. They need to have moisture around the roots for the roots to grow. If you just like put them in bark, nothing will happen. You need to keep the area, the bottom of the growth, rosette, it's not a rosette, whatever this thing is, you need to keep it moist, because where the roots come from, if there's no moisture, they don't grow. This is a hole, so it's not covered. I'm not doing like a very high humidity environment. I'm just trying to maintain the sphagnum moss moist for longer. So I'm trying to maintain some humidity here, but not a whole lot. There is a lot of ventilation. So I'm keeping it like this. This is the tag, and it is sprouting roots. Thank goodness. So if you ever have an issue of the sorts and for whatever reason you don't have the mother plant, you can actually still save these growths. You can put them in sphagnum moss, keep them wet at all times. The sphagnum moss must not dry out until you root this thing. And just wait it out. It's gonna be a long wait. But wait it out, why not? So the venustum hopefully is saved. Alrighty, real quick, a little update on the Catasetum type orchids as well. First off, the gray stun is waking up. I made a short about it, but I don't know how many of you watch shorts. Many of you don't. It's waking up. I'll give you a close-up. We have one of the eyes is swelling up. I already see it's growing. We shall pot it very, very soon. For now, it still sits like this because the growth is really tiny. It doesn't have roots. There's no reason like to put water in it or anything. There's no roots to pick up that water. So it's still sitting like this, but it is waking up. So I think my theory about being that it's coming from Brazil into the northern hemisphere, you know, the seasons are totally opposite, and it needs to season itself to like my geographical location. And it's gonna do so gradually. It's not gonna be like, oh wait, this is not home, let's act completely different. No, it's gonna have to sense its environment, and in time it will acclimate and like work on our seasons here. Luckily for me, I have very long summers, longer than one would like. Can you imagine going to the beach for swims and stuff in November? Some of you can. I couldn't until I moved here. I've lived most of my life in a much different environment. But yeah, one could say that summer is ending summer in October, and then a very nice warm autumn starts and lasts until like February. But anyway, so she's waking up. I was going somewhere with this idea. Yeah, because I have a long summer, she will get acclimated. She will have like a proper growth season. No worries. In 3 months, 4 months, this girl will be absolutely great. She's not gonna experience like cold or anything. I'm not worried about it. Even if she's waking up late, it's okay. Next year might be completely different. She might wake up like earlier. Let me show you what happens when you don't have piss on your leaves. This is Millennium Magic Witchcraft. I'm ashamed to tell you how old this is in my collection. Many years old. Look at the poor growth of the past, and look at this. Look at this growth this year. I'm so happy. It's so nice. Look how big this pseudobulb will be. And you know why? Because it had an uninterrupted growth season, which is so important for these orchids and any deciduous orchid. With these guys, we need to take into account the pattern of growth and its nature of losing leaves. And we have to do everything in our power not to disturb the growing season, which means no repottings as much as possible and no pests, because these are the only leaves this orchid has in its growing season. No other leaves from the past, because it loses them once a year. So if something happens to these leaves, which are the kitchen of the orchid, they prepare the food. If the food supply is short, the pseudobulbs will be short as well. See what I did there? But if the food supply works uninterrupted, this is what you get. I'm very happy, very proud of my little Catasetums, so I had to make a little update on them. A longer update than I anticipated, so I'll put them back and move on to a different orchid. Really quick, Dendrobium cuthbertsonis, they did not do it. The only one that's still hanging on is this guy. It's one of them. I still have the tag somewhere. I'm trying this setup out. It's not ideal. I will improve it, but I'm trying to create a mini greenhouse kind of thing on it that keeps in moisture, and this is the only one that survived. The other ones just completely shriveled. This is given, as I was saying, I'm making some economy on electricity and all, so I've been keeping this greenhouse much warmer than I should, but I can't afford to pay the electricity right now with the house expenses and everything. Everything will change because in our new house we have solar panels like to last us, put the maximum amount we could. So probably, you know, we're gonna cover all of the electricity needs with them. But here we can't. And I don't even want to think about the electricity bill this year. I can't. So yeah, it's my fault. I kept the room a little too warm. I had no choice. So the cuthbertsonis would not have it. But I'm trying to see if just maintaining a heck of a lot of moisture helps, and it did. And I'm hoping in the new room I can keep things more cooler for the cuthbertsonis, but it's a shame, I know, it's on me. I just couldn't. So they didn't survive. That's what happened to them. But I have this one, and I saved this one because it still had substance and greenness into the canes. The other ones were done, and it happened super fast. Anyway, so that's the cuthbertsoni. And somebody asked me about the retusa, the foxtail vanda, and here's a little feather from my burdens. Here she is. She's grown a little bit. The deal is that she really didn't like me potting it. Maybe I made the potting mix a little too moist for it. What I do now, because again, I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do with the vandas. I might try to put them outside, case in which I might use the vanda baskets that I got from rePotme a million years ago. I might go ahead and do something like that. What I did was, I'm just keeping it bare rooted and just watering it so it can get in this bucket from time to time. It's a pain in the behind, but I'm keeping it alive like this. Here she is. The root system is not the best, but she lost a lot of roots. This is what we're working with. It is enough to keep her hydrated, and she grew quite a bit. Doesn't have enough light where I keep it. There is no space for this orchid at this moment, but as I was saying, I'm okay if she's not blooming right now. I want to figure out the vanda situation in the new location, and then I'll figure out what I'm gonna do with it. We might pot it together, we'll see. But for now, she's sitting like this, and from time to time I soak it. And that's how she's doing. All right, bulbophyllums. I think somebody asked me about them as well. I'm gonna give you an update on the tinier bulbophyllums that we didn't see again in a million years. Here we have the Bulbophyllum medusa in this wonderful, wonderful pot that Maya sent me. And here we have the Nasturtianum. Has a flower spike, finally. Here's the catch with the bulbophyllums. They require a lot of water, and sometimes I don't provide it. So what I decided to do is something that I do not recommend anybody to do. Unless you know what you're doing maybe and you don't care about what I have to say, and I don't know. If you want to do it, do it. But I don't recommend you do it. But anyway, they are potted. This one is potted in a nice pot, right? It has no drainage. And this one is potted in a bowl. I went to the supermarket and I found a bowl that looks cute. I thought, could fit. I put it here and that's it. It's a food bowl. And that's how I grow the bulbophyllums. Yes, I take care not to keep them like in a swampy condition. But honestly, even if I put water all the way up to the top, in 1 week it would be poof, gone. Because it's that warm and that dry and it evaporates instantly. So this works out pretty great for me. I'm now seeing that maybe I chose a food bowl that is a little too tiny. Maybe I could have gone for a bigger one. I have another one. back there in a food bowl. But hey, it works out for me. So these are the bulbophyllums. They look very nice, and I cannot wait to see the Nasturtianum in bloom again. Has been a while, but it has a beautiful flower. It's doing finally good because it's sitting hydrated now. The water doesn't go out from anywhere, so this bowl retains a lot of water. But obviously this looks much prettier. And that's maybe how I will keep my bulbophyllums, because yeah. And you know what? I can keep these on nice furniture as well, like decoration, because the water doesn't seep out. I know how to water them. I'm okay with that. The environment is how it is, so that's why I'm getting away with it. But definitely your environment is completely different, and this might kill your orchid in a few months. You know, so don't do necessarily what I do, but if you feel like, you know, you have the same issues than me and you want to try it out, why not? I mean, no drainage containers. If you know you can be careful, go for it. Why not? I did. And lastly, the last orchid I'm gonna show you, and then we're gonna get into the ones that didn't make it, is my vanilla. It's sitting right here. Remember, I had it like growing up on a Vittsjo shelf. I removed it from there because I managed to damage the growing tip because it was right there. When I watered, I completely destroyed the tip with my watering can. So what I intend to do with her, I think I'm gonna put it in Yoshi, which is my crested gecko. I'm gonna put it in his or her, I'm not sure, maybe it's a girl. And I'm gonna put it in his, because the gecko is a male noun. I'm gonna put it in his enclosure just to vine there and be all wild. I think that's what I'm gonna do with it. But here she is. She's very tall and currently is just sitting like this because I don't want to damage it again. But here she is. The vanilla is doing great, growing bigger and bigger leaves. That's nice, but I think she's gonna like to climb on stuff in that enclosure, and having water sprayed on it every day on these aerial roots, perfect conditions, perfect environment for it, I think. And it's so wild and jungly, and he will love to sit on it, I think. Right, I forgot to update you on this one. I'm gonna update you really quick now. The Bellina is here for reasons you will discover at the end of the video. But yeah, the Gongora, I still have it. It's just like the Collagenii. You see, it's not the happiest. I need to water it more. I need to find a better solution for it. She's still here, and I see something. I think it's a new growth. I don't think it's a flower spike. I need to do something better for it. I don't know yet what. Maybe I will go for one of those bowls because it assures more hydration, and I know how to keep it okay even without drainage. But there she is. She's still here. She's just not excelling. But I decided to keep it, and hopefully in the new environment it will do okay. I don't think it's a heat issue. From what I know, Gongoras are pretty heat tolerant. Maybe it's just a severe transpiration and hydration issue, which with everything, you know, makes sense. But she's still around. She's looking much better than the Collagenii. But yeah, here she is as well. I know somebody asked about it. She's still here, just not doing way too much. And I'm planning to do better with her. We'll see. Maybe in the new room she will do better. All right, and as I tell you about the orchids that are no longer with us, I brought the Bellina for courage. She smells so nice. She's my favorite Phalaenopsis. Oh, hands down. It's the very same one that I have for 8 years now. It's my baby. Right, so Psychopsis. It kind of just withered off. Remember at some point I told you it stopped blooming? Well, at some point it stopped wanting to live as well. It made a cakey on one of the flower spikes. I removed it. I tried to root it. It didn't work out. It's not with us anymore. I don't know what happened to it, to be fully honest. It was just like that, like there was a switch in its behavior, and it just didn't want him. Could be Fusarium, could be a virus, could be any number of reasons, which is weird because I had Psychopsis before and they were absolutely fine. This one was fine for a while, and then it is what it is. What else? Oh, this will be a shock. Collagenii usitana. Do you notice, or did you notice throughout the years that, yes, it was blooming and stuff, but it wasn't really growing much? It never made bigger pseudobulbs. I don't think it really enjoyed this climate way too much. So what happened was, all of the time, the leaves would just kind of like yellow off. The newer leaves as well, they were yellowing. Maybe I didn't water it enough. Maybe the environment was a little too warm. And I think this summer did it, or whenever the heat started, because it started in April or something. Yeah, it was too much for it. I think this climate or this environment wasn't good for it. So in the end, I just like decided to put it out of its misery because it was getting more and more stunted, more and more tiny. Those pseudobulbs were more and more tiny and shriveled. So I was like, okay, what else? I really can't think of something like iconic from the top of my mind now. But anyway, yeah, those were the orchids that we will not be seeing on this channel until maybe I repurchase them. We'll see. I need to get used to how the new room will work, what the challenges there will be, and so on and so forth. As you notice, I'm on a no buying spree. Not because I don't want to buy orchids. I would buy all the orchids of the world, but I need to, you know, invest into the house now and, you know, decorate it, well, buy stuff for the house. So that takes priority, and the orchids will have to take a little bit of a break this year, new orchids that is. But maybe next year I will start with the hauls again, and it will give me enough time to learn a little bit the new environment and give me a chance to decide where I want to grow them and so on and so forth. But for now, oh, there was another orchid I wanted to update you on. Hold on. All right, so it was the Gongora I just filmed. We're gonna manipulate a little bit the timeline of events here, but anyway, I updated you guys on the Gongora as well. And yeah, with that said, that is about it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed today's updates. Let me know what other orchids you would like to see updated in these videos. She's right next to me and she's smelling so nice, and it's just so beautiful. If you don't have a Bellina, just get one. Even a seedling, like if they're expensive and stuff in your area, get a seedling, it's fine. They will actually bloom as they're still young. Now with too many blooms, but one bloom is all you need from it. Just one bloom. I don't think anybody will regret buying Bellinas, right? So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!